Hello, today is day 26 and I would like to start a journal. It's a 30-day challenge, so today is day 26, another 4 days for English version. Okay, so basically today I did first Google Meet sessions with the member within my community. So there were 6 people. And right now, the majority of people are Japanese. And as maybe you know, Japan has a very high suicide rate. And as a culture, we also have a very interesting tendencies, which is we don't really show our emotions in general, and we don't really talk in depth in general. As in Western countries, it's a high context place, meaning that people talk and communicate and understand through communicating and talking. But then in Japanese, we don't talk, but we kind of guess what other people want, and we do things instead of talking. So it's called low context, and I learned this back in my probably MBA class, is that depending on the culture, there's a high context and low context. So I live in a high context world, and also the realization about self-development is much more in a collective consciousness way. It's very evolved. And in Asia, the concept is catching up since it's an internet world, but still, there's this, cultural thing that is blocking people's mind. And, for me, my strong suit is, of course, my first language is in Japanese. So right now I'm focusing on learning and acquiring ideas in Japanese. And in secondary, I am working on my English as well as I'm doing this YouTube so that I can also practice to send messages in English as well. But since this company that I established is based in Vancouver and based in Canada, I want to find community within Canada and Vancouver, Toronto, and all over the place, other places as well, so that I can create a community that we can constantly learn together for constant realizations. I do believe self-awareness comes from constructive feedback, and it must be done in a safe place, and a safe place meaning that the place that you feel safe. So I am trying to engineer how we can create that environment online virtually, and it's like a support group, right? Like when a drug addict go to support group, they go in. I see it on the movies. I never done it, but if you go to the movies, it's like people like sit around like 6 to 8 people, and they talk about, hey, like my experience, I was like this and that, and they try to have like an empathy part. But that's a little bit different, but it's a similar concept, right? Similar concepts, meaning that supporting each other in terms of people's life in a more constructive and so I do believe that having a power partner is a crucial element. I've seen this TED Talk that was done by Harvard University professor. This research was over 70 years, and the key to be healthy and to have a mentally, emotionally satisfied life is to have a community, group of people that support each other. And for people who fail to find that community, they die earlier, and they have a much more lonely life. And loneliness produces cortisol, which is a stress hormone, and that cortisol is really bad for you. So for me, I learned this a year ago, and I keep that in mind. So I do my best to keep learning and trying to be proactive about what I've learned and sharing it to people. But I do believe that people has different stage of life, and depending on what kind of information that comes to you and how deep you let it in, it does change people's behavior. So that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this, is because I when I watched YouTube video last year, when I was in a severe depression, by listening to people's experience itself was a therapy. And I didn't have to meet anyone. I just had to stay at home and, you know, listen to it. And I do believe that collective habit definitely saved my life and gave me courage to speak out like this as well, so that I can maybe have a little positive influence towards people who is going through a similar experience that I did. And you know, even right now I hear there's so many discriminations issues coming up, and you know, people are, you know, rising up and trying to you know, how do you say, call that on. Yeah, so I do believe that, you know, the world is changing in a very different way. Like, it's a new experience for all of us. And I myself, I know it's a different level. Maybe it's a different level. As a personal level, I had that experience of being discriminated in Japan, and that was like excruciating feeling that, you know, I always thought that no one could never understand. But as a human being, when we go through pain, you know, when we are able to have that path to understand other people's pain and to be able to relate to that pain, I believe that's when love happens, and I believe that's when healing happens. And I hope that I can create that kind of community that can support people's, you know, lives, and also you know, even small goals, baby step goals. Not all of people is in for personal development, and some people even have allergy for that. I used to have allergy for that. I didn't like to join any kind of group because, you know, I never thought that I would be, you know, important to them. And, you know, I had a lot of insecurities, but I want to break that, you know, stigma. And I hope that, you know, I can make a cool and also fun and engaging kind of study group, so that, you know, people would know that they are heard and understood. And yeah, I just will do my best. And it's a constant try and error every single day for this 2 months. Constant. You know, I try something, you know, it's not that, sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't, but I'm definitely improving every day. So I wanted to say, if you support this cause, which is raising mental health awareness, then please hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell, so that every time I post a video, you would know. And also you will be able to receive the most up-to-date information about this nonprofit organization. It's still a small community, but we are growing, and also we are trying to be creative so that we will be able to create a fun and engaging kind of way to learn about life, about human being, about any kind of thing, biology. And, you know, I'm not an expert in those. My expertise in management, but, you know, I want to be able to be the project leader, the company, head of the company, to kind of, you know, create this stage for all of the people, so that people can share their experience as a human being, and that itself, I hope, can heal people's heart. So yeah, I think I am you know, baby steps, going through every single day, but I hope that this channel can evolve as well. So yeah, anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow. Sorry for the awkwardness. Bye.